Justin, let's talk about MCP. I know you've been
Yeah,
spending some time with MCP as well. Let's take maybe a few minutes if you can show us what you've built there.
sure. All right. So MCP works with several different other programs. So this is Claude Desktop, and I'm specifically using Claude Desktop, which will run on your laptop, because it will have access to your computer. So if I open up the little tab here and I go to settings and I go to connectors. So if you just browse connectors, there's a bunch of things already here that you can start connecting into. And there's desktop connectors. So the first thing I connected it to was file system and control your Mac. And what that allowed me to do is it would just clean up my desktop, clean up my downloads folder. And so it went through and it processed over 1,000 files from 5 years of storing stuff on this computer. And so it does a really, really good job of connecting to all these little desktop things. And they're adding new ones. Like I can already see, okay, so when I started to try and install this, I don't know anything about coding. And so I just said, I need you to study this GitHub repo and help me install this Google Analytics MCP server so I can check my Google Analytics data right from my Claude desktop. And I gave it the link to the Google Analytics MCP. And so then it went through and studied all the instructions, the README file, the layout of the code and everything, and just told me step by step what to do. It gave me the things to paste into my terminal. And it said, okay, now open terminal. Now paste this in there. Now paste that in there. And I would walk through step by step. And then when things wouldn't work, because sometimes the instructions are wrong. So if I come down here, let me find one. But essentially what I would do is I would just give it a screenshot. Yeah, okay. So something messed up. And I would just take a screenshot of the error that popped up on my screen. It's super scary, but don't worry about it. Claude can fix it. So I took a screenshot of the error, and then I just said, new error, please read the full history in terminal and advise. And so that would happen, I don't know, 3 or 4 more times where another error would happen, and it would say, okay, let me try this. Another error would happen. Okay, let me try this instead. And then we got through it. And so that's kind of how I worked my way through it, is just what happened on my screen. I would take a screenshot and I would say, here's what happened. Claude can see that image, decipher the problem, and then fix that image. And that's how I got these installed, which I want to make sure that I show you guys this. All right, so let me go with, give me an update on my ad campaigns for July. My ad campaign. Let's go Lovable. And so because it's connected, make sure to use the GAds connector just to be specific with it. So because Google Ads is connected directly to my Claude desktop, it can now log into my Google Ads and go fetch the information. It can give me insights. It can tell me, hey, maybe you should try this. Did you know that this ad is underperforming? This ad is performing really, really well. And so it's just going through there and it's looking at my campaign, and then it's going to make a report for me for July.
What it's doing for you is that instead of having to copy and paste that data or import that data manually, you can import that data directly into your Claude agent through MCP connector for your Google Ads so that you can start to run different insights on demand.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, we just started it in July, so there wasn't many clicks. I probably should have done for August. But yeah, you can see here that it went and looked for my campaign name, reporting July 1st through 31st. Here's my impressions, my clicks, my click-through rates, my costs, conversions. We just started, so there was no conversions yet. Here's the strengths. Here's the areas for attention, daily performance highlights. Like I could ask it any question. So this has been my big warning to all my customers in advertising, saying like, look, when you're right now, only the super nerds know that this exists. But when your clients learn that this is here, when they see my interviews and they realize they can do this, you're done. You know, it's like the problem with an ad agency. I love them. You're smart and you're worth your money. But the problem is if it's 11 p.m. and I want to check on my Google ad, I have to email you and then wait a response. But with this, 2 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. when I'm, walking the dog, like I can just get an update real quick, and then I can ask it, what changes to my ads should I make, and write them for me. And it's just going to do that, just like what an ad
Love
agency
that.
would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the power.
I'm doing a lot of this with my content, which I tend to have in my Google Drive or my knowledge base. And I mean, it's significantly simplified my workflows for me, right? Because I don't have to hop across multiple browsers or systems. I can just call my data, my content in a single place and continue with my workflow the way I normally would. So MCP is certainly a game-changing direction.
Yes.
So Justin, as we kind of start to, I know we're coming close to end of time. So one more question before I let you go.
Okay.
So you've shared all these really powerful use cases with us, and you've talked about your toolkits and just all the different ways you're harnessing the power of AI. When you think about your business 6 months or 12 months or 18 months from now, generally, how do you see AI changing how you operate your business?
I think we're going to have much smaller companies because one person can now do the work of 10 people because these tools,
Mm,
for instance, a great example, my nephew used to run an Instagram account for me. But now my nephew can just run an AI agent that runs the Instagram account for us. And so how many Instagram accounts can he run? 10, 20,
yeah.
100, and so that's where the work is going to change, is one person is going to be able to do 10 to 100 times more work because they have AI agents that are fetching the data, that are running the reports, that are writing the new ads. And so it's much more of that type of work. And so I see I'm going to have a much smaller company, which much more revenue per employee, and revenue is not hurting, revenue is going up because I've got better market research now, I've got better intel now, and so I'm able to create new features, I'm able to create better marketing, I've got prediction agents that are increasing my engagement rates and my click-through rates and stuff like that. So metrics are going up, productivity is going up, costs are shrinking.
So scale, efficiency, consistency at a lower cost.
Yes.
That's great. Who wouldn't take that? Justin, thank you for all these great insights and really showing us how you're harnessing the power of AI. I'm taking a lot out of it. I'm looking forward to go back and apply some of this.
Okay. All right, great to
Thank
meet you.
you.